Well, welcome back to the channel. We are on to a new project. As you can see, we're going to try and install some doors into this house. We've had these here for about a year and a half altogether. We actually had them forklift into the house when we didn't have the sliding glass doors in here. So we managed to keep them inside and warm and secure and weatherproofed throughout last winter and so far through the rest of the build. But we are going to get on to doing door installation. It's a big step. I'm looking forward to it. I've been told that true mastery or carpentry is not so much in the install of standard stuff. It is in fixing problems and making corrections and doing that shows your expertise. So we're going to find out how that works. And here's why. So there's a little bit of a miscommunication when we ordered the doors. So the door openings were framed a ½ inch on each side and a ½ inch up and down when I did it based off of the blueprints that I have. At the same time that we were doing our lumber packages when we had ordered our doors, and of course the doors do not match the rough openings in the doorway. Give you an example. What I'm talking about here is across the doorway is 37.5 inches and up is 80.5 inches. However, our doors, which granted they have to be modified, all the doors do, they come a little longer on the tail end bottom so that you can modify those based on your door heights. But even before the modification, these doors come in at 82 inches. So we've got some discrepancy there in the width across, and this is where the challenge comes in, is the doors are 37.25 across. So I'm going to have to, unfortunately, either figure out a way to take probably on one side of the door jamb itself and plane it down a little bit, but I'm also going to have to modify the frame, which is going to be a little bit more tricky and complex to do. It's my mistake. I should have caught this when we were in the framing stage before we got to sheetrock and paint and as far along as we are. However, this is just where we're at, so we're going to test my problem-solving skills and my math and my carpentry skills in getting these doors fit. And unfortunately, it's every door that we have. So every frame needs to be modified, and so does the door in order for those to go in. So we're going to get busy trying to figure out a solution for this and get this sorted out so we can start getting our doors in. Another thing of note is that when I go to modify, depending on what side the hinge goes on, I'm not going to modify it, like for example on the master bedroom door, I'm not going to modify the hinge side because I know that this is plumb and level, and so I don't want to jerry-rig this side of the door and have it uneven and have the door wonky, since that's the side I'm going to start shimmy from. So we'll modify the opposite side. In this case, we're going to have to go a ½ inch here, and then I have a 1/4 inch I can take off the door. I'm going to plane one side of the door down. We'll see how that works, and we'll see if we get this fitted. And then, because of the height, we're going to end up having to modify our frame, and then also cut the door itself to give us enough gap between the flooring and the door itself. So we've got some math and some things to figure out here. But let's get to it. The problem that we face with these two doors, the pantry door and the laundry room door, is that all the blueprints showed a 37-inch wide opening, which is fine, but when the doors were ordered, they ordered 36-inch doors. So with the door in place, and with this, you can see the 2x4s and the sheetrock. I'm going to face that in with a 1x6 painted facing, and then have the door slide between the wall here. But the problem is is that is a 37-inch door or opening, and that is a 36-inch door. With the trim, it's going to look really, really funky. So in order to do those doors, we're going to have to do some modifications to the framework. We're going to have to add some 2x4s in here to shorten the distance in the door frame, and then we're going to have to do some sheetrock changes to fill in the gaps and do that. So we have some modifications to do first with this in order to make these doors work. It's a long process. I'm not exactly thrilled about having to do it, but it's an easy fix. But we'll get on that and start fixing the door frame so we can start hanging our doors. All right. So based on the door width on the sliding door is 36 inches. That's a 37-inch opening with the trim. My thought is that I'm going to put in two 2x4s to enclose this a little bit better, and then we'll have to do again the sheetrock with it and pretty that up. But then we'll do a 1x4 internal lining of that so that it covers up the sheetrock and looks clean and all that as the entryway. So we've got some work and modifications to do, so let's get started. All right, as you can see, I added two 2x4s. That gives me this, and then we're going to do a 1x4 inch trim on the inside of this. So once the sheetrock's on, it'll all look nice and framed in and pretty cool looking. Anyway, what I'll do is I will get busy doing this. I'm not going to bore you with the repair work, which is sheetrock texturing and painting. So we'll come back, that will be done. All right, there you go. I got the wallboard in, and I've got all of that with a hot mud in there to seal the seams. We'll go through and I'll sand that down, and then I'll retexture it and paint it. But we've got this one done, and then I also got the pantry done because the same thing needed to happen there. So we're coming along, and we'll just keep on plugging, and then we'll move on to actual door install once we get this stuff all situated. All right, so to modify these frames to make them 3/4 of an inch wider, I'm using a Sawzall. As you can see right here, I cut the part so I can get my blade for my skill saw in there. And then I'll run each side with the skill saw and then pull that out. So that's 31 inches there, and the door is 31 1/4. So I went a little bit over so I have some room to maneuver the door, but we'll get this cut out and then work on modifying our door and getting it in for the toilet. Oh, I hate doing that. I really hate doing that. It makes me nervous with the sheetrock screws in there, but that's the only way I can modify these doors. All right, so I managed to cut this side. You can see the saws are kind of jacking up the wall a little bit, but I'll have to deal with that with paint and touch up, and then also the molding will cover some of that up. But we'll fix that as we go. Anyway, I got this widened out to 37.5. The doors are 37.25. I'm going to plane down a little bit on the one side of the door jamb where the lock goes to give me a little bit more room to play with, and we'll see if these will then fit in there. But I also have to modify the height of the door, which also means modifying the door itself. So we've still got some work to do to see if we can get our first door in. All right, so I planed off that 1/4 inch rib that was on there, and that hopefully should give us enough to go into that newly cut door frame. So we'll see. We still have to modify the height. Alright, so we now have this cut to height. The problem is the door is going to be longer than this because of the issue with the door height. So now I got to install the door back in that frame and then figure out my measurement on the door on what I need to do to modify the actual door to fit the frame. So we're getting closer on our modifications. We're going to see if this works. I've given this a lot of thought and a lot of work through, and so we'll do what we can with it. Yeah, see, as you can see here, we got a good 1/2 inch between where I cut for the door jamb and the bottom of the door. So I have to actually go up, cut this much, but I also got to give myself a 1/4 inch reveal for the flooring. So we'll have to remeasure this and then we'll cut the door. All right, well, we've got our door frame and door marked up and cut. So we've got that all set up. So now we'll see if it'll actually fit in the doorway and the jamb. So we'll cross our fingers and see if our modifications worked. All right, well, we got our first door. It's in. I've still got to shim it up and do some work with it. Somewhere I lost my hat in the fray, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, I had to do some heavy modifications on this side. I have to, on all the rest of the doors, I'm gonna have to remove at least 3/4 of an inch off of one side in order to get the door in there to give us a lot of play along with planing down the thing. But we got at least one door in a position, and it tells me that I can work with these. And so now I'll shim this thing up and level it out, and then we'll move on to the next doors and what we have to do there. Well, we decided to take a little bit of time away from the build. Got my partner here, and we are going into the Missoula Butterfly House and Insectarium. A little something different for a little outing for the day. Our dog is up at a new kennel testing that out and seeing if he likes it there, and we decided to come down and do this. So we'll go in and check it out. The place is brand new, which is pretty cool. There's a lot to see in there. They still got a lot of butterflies hatching. We got to watch some of them release some new ones and got to see some other cool stuff. So now we're going back to work. Well, as you can see, it fell apart, the frame, outside frame, so now I got to rebuild that and then we'll put it all back together. It happens, you just got to go with it. All right, now that I got the frame rebuilt, they're just held together with staples at the top. So it's not like it's the most robust framework that it comes with. So we got that together. Hopefully it'll stay together. And now we'll reattach it to the door so we can put it into place. Well, we got that all put together. Now we'll go hang that. This is the closet door. And then we got the closet door in, so we got 3 more doors to go, and then we are done at least setting the doors. We'll go back through and we'll shim everything up and make sure everything opens correctly, but we got our gaps at the bottoms correct. They're fitting in the modifications, and so that's a huge headache that has been relieved, so we're just gonna keep on trucking on. All right, we're at door number 5 in. That's the bathroom, guest bathroom door, and so that one is in. I got this one modified for the utility room straight across from it, and so we've got that door to do, and then we still have the guest bedroom door. So we're getting closer. This is a little time consuming to make it work, but as you can see, we're getting our doors in. It's looking pretty sweet. I'm pretty happy with it, but it is a lot of work to get this done, and I've got a mess everywhere. So we're just going to keep at it, and we'll work on the guest bedroom door next. Now that took a little bit. The inside of this is a little shallow on the inside of this door, but overall I'm pretty satisfied with it. Got it to where we want it, and now we'll just keep at it. We have one more door left, and then we'll be good to go. All right, there we go. We got our last of our hinge doors in. I'm pretty excited about that. It's a lot of work. Like I said, I had to modify every frame, 7 frames in the house. And that is a lot of work, man, especially with sheetrock being in place. Luckily, we didn't tear that up too much, and we've got everything where we want it. Anyway, we've got our doors in. That's huge. And the next one we have to do is we have 2 barn doors in the kitchen or for the laundry room and for the pantry, and those are up next. And those 2 doors are also going to take some special modifications, but we'll get to that in our next video. Anyway, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this. So if you like these type of videos, please remember to like and subscribe and hit that bell for notifications when new videos are uploaded. Anyway, thanks for watching.